What is up, guys, and welcome back to Koi's Corner. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment letting me know why. So before we begin, this is actually, today specifically is the 2-year anniversary of this channel. I can't believe we're almost at 300,000 subscribers in 2 years. It's mind-blowing. So thank you guys again so much for supporting what I do and all of this content. But real quick, just for a little video today, I wanted to talk to you guys quickly about closed-mindedness, essentially why people are closed-minded and how we can keep ourselves from becoming closed-minded by understanding a certain form of psychology that happens within the brain in regards to how we think. Because this occurrence is a phenomenon present in almost every human and is something known as a confirmation bias. And so basically, in the scientific definition, a confirmation bias in cognitive psychology is the human tendency to search for or interpret information in a way that confirms one's preconceptions or beliefs. What does this mean? What it basically boils down to is that when we are learning or taking in information, we do so through a filtered lens. We do so in a way that supports the way we already view life, politics, love, morality, sports, music, and so forth. And we do this for a variety of reasons, but the biggest reason is because it's easier to build up what we already believe than it is to pull it apart and build up a lot of little things that we don't know what we believe or that we are discovering as we go forward. But this is the premise of spiritual practice and personal growth, is this destroying and rebuilding in a bunch of different ways to find out what works. Because right now, as it stands, most of us live through a certain vantage. We follow a certain religion, we have a certain political stance, we have a certain type of music we like, just like we said. And we don't really spend much time debating what we already side with. So confirmation bias is basically our mind filtering out what doesn't help our preconceived condition or our vantages that we've already cemented. It's the path of least resistance, and so our brain follows this confirmation bias subconsciously without us even realizing it. Because of this, most people who are extremely closed-minded in their mind really don't know they are closed-minded. They think they are being logical, they think they're being reasonable, they think they are weighing their options, when in reality, they're not. Even we can be doing this right now. As you watch this video, you could be saying, no, I'm very open-minded, I'm not closed-minded at all. And that's you solidifying a placement or a thought process that you already have. It's you strengthening your preconceived idea instead of stepping back and saying, wait a minute, maybe am I possibly a little bit closed-minded about some things? Let me think about it. Let me think of ideas where I might be closed-minded. Because for me personally, a great example is that I've never really been into pop country music. What's on the billboards right now for country. I like a little bit of bluegrass. I like folk music from the 60s and 70s. But if somebody were to put on the #1 country song in the nation right now, I would probably want them to turn it off instantly and wouldn't even give it a chance, because psychologically I've accepted that I don't like country music, or that I don't want to listen to it, or that I don't think it's good. That is confirmation bias in our brain. I listen to this music and instead of giving it a chance, all my brain does is say, yep, it sucks, I don't like it, I'm not even gonna try, and that fuels my position. So imagine switching this to a religious or spiritual vantage. If you are raised Catholic or raised Christian, and one of your friends or somebody in your life says, you know, I'm getting into Buddhism or Hinduism, it's an amazing practice. If you are already content with the way you view your religion and your lifestyle, if you are set in a place where you don't want to get outside of it, you're going to view Buddhism or Hinduism or any new spiritual practice as flat out wrong, as unnecessary, as flawed in a way, and not give it a real chance. And this is what I think a lot of us see with our practice, coming to find ourselves, trying to explain it to our family, trying to explain it to our friends who just don't get it, is that they are being closed-minded subconsciously because they already have a mental state that they're okay with. And even crazier than this is that science shows the older we get, the stronger our confirmation bias gets. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the renowned astrophysicist, actually says very often in his lectures that nothing he speaks about is meant for anybody over the age of 40 or 50, because by that point, we've become so locked into our vantage of this life that we will not change it no matter what happens. If I believe in, say, the Judeo-Christian God, or I believe that psychics are real up until my 50s or 60s. And somebody brings me, even if they bring me solid scientific proof that I am wrong, my worldview is so set, my confirmation bias is so locked into finding a way to strengthen my views that this person will ignore it no matter what. You could show them 50 facts, and as long as they could find one article online or in a book that says that their position is right, they will completely ignore every fact you've ever presented them or every idea you've ever uttered. And this is something that is very hard to change and is kind of impossible for a lot of people because they don't accept that they have a confirmation bias going on in their mind when it's applying to different ideas and perspectives. But what's good is that you're watching this video right now and you're understanding that you may have certain biases in your own mind for certain practices, aspects of life, political, musical, drugs, spirituality, lifestyles, simple things, what you wear. I mean, there are so many different aspects of life that we fall into a category of that we want to stay in, and that we will vehemently deny anything outside of it that doesn't strengthen it. So if you can understand this right now, if you can see that you might have a confirmation bias, you can get a lot better at breaking that mold. Specifically, a great way to practice this is to write down the strongest point you have on any given topic. This could be abortion, this could be the death penalty, this could be with same-sex marriages and couples in general. These types of touchy topics to a lot of people who are raised in certain ways are ones you might have subconsciously. So a great way to check our mind and to keep ourselves open-minded and stop us from getting closed off or becoming consumed by this closed-mindedness is to write down our strongest positions and then research opposing positions. Put ourselves in the middle ground. Instead of sticking directly to them instantly without questioning them, try to understand as much as we can the other side of the spectrum and come to get where they're really coming from before we maybe change our view or resolve our view and stay with it. And that's really all it takes, is allowing our mind the chance to accept the other side of the spectrum and come to understand it. I myself, when I was getting into Hinduism and Buddhism, did a lot of research beforehand on Islam, on Christianity, on different faiths. I read the Quran, I read through most of the Bible. And so therefore, me going into Buddhism and Hinduism and other Eastern practices isn't me completely casting off these other religions on the other side of the spectrum out of ignorance, but more so out of personal choice because I've done my research on both sides. This goes for anything. Most of us don't do this because we find something shiny and bright and cool and we want to pick it first without looking at the other side of the spectrum and really solidifying our position. But that's the best way too. And this keeps us from becoming closed-minded. Another quick example is that I am a personal believer and experiencer of astral projections, of different realms of reality somehow separate from ours in some way, shape, or form. But the other day, somebody sent me an email talking about why astral projection isn't real for about 14-15 minutes. Now, I could have easily just deleted this email and said, nope, I think it's real. But instead of being closed-minded, I recognized that I wanted to do that, and I instead watched this entire video, looked at all the points about it, kind of compared it to my own views and advantages, and figured out what I thought about it, and I kind of still stick with what I think. I understand these points, they are valid, but my experiences kind of differ. My facts about these situations also differ. So there is a kind of rift, but that's the key, is the little things, the things we want to subconsciously gloss over. We have to open them up, to read about them, to explore them, to try to place ourselves on that side of the spectrum. And then by defining that and by understanding that aspect of learning, no matter what it is, it either changes our view or strengthens it and keeps us from becoming closed-minded, and instead helps us open up, be free, be conscious, be aware, and experience this life without a negative bias or attitude of superiority or elitism in any subject, no matter what it is. So that pretty much is the psychological concept of confirmation bias, how we can recognize it, why other people are closed-minded and they might not even know it, and how we can combat it and make ourselves better in every day by realizing what biases we might have and by embracing them and learning about them instead of shunning them to strengthen our view and to take the easy road out. So hopefully that video wasn't too complicated. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and want to help me create more, click right here to donate, and feel free to check out all my other content. Your support means the world to me, and it's part of what keeps me doing what I do.